It's a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Gina Grandi, and I serve as the Dean at the Haskayne School of Business at the University of Calgary. Through our CDL-Rockies Nurture program, our 3 streams, Energy, Agri-Food, and Prime, and Haskayne's Scale-Up program, we support visionary founders in accelerating their commercialization potential. Since our inception in 2017, CDL-Rockies alumni have raised more than $3 billion in capital and created more than 2,700 jobs. $1.4 billion of that and more than 1,000 of those jobs were in Alberta alone. In the last year, we have had 3 CDL-Rockies alumni exit. On Topical, a Prime Stream alumni sold to Solvra, a leading GovTech firm with clients across North America. Energy Stream alumni Ironsight sold to global energy logistics giant Kabul. Prime Stream alumni Hyperloom was acquired by Credo Technology Group for its micro-LED-based optical interconnect technology for AI data centers. And we're quite proud of all 3 of them. Today, I'm very pleased to introduce Illuminex AI, graduates of the CDL-Rockies Prime Stream. Critical infrastructure, including pipelines, bridges, power grids, airport runways, and rail tracks, depend on inspection. Right now, that mostly means sending people into sometimes very dangerous environments to look for problems that instruments might catch faster and more reliably, and also more safely. Illuminex AI built InspectX, a modular platform combining perception centers and AI to automate those inspections, catching risks that manual processes mix. Please join me in welcoming Brian from Illuminex AI to the stage.
Good afternoon. So I'm the second to last speaker, so I got the prime spot, and I appreciate all of you staying for this long. I'm Brian Freed, CEO of Illuminex AI. So quick show of hands, how many of you flew into Toronto Pearson to attend this event? So if you looked out the window of your aircraft as you taxied in, you might have seen a vehicle like this somewhere out on the airfield. And driving that vehicle would have been an inspector like Matt, one of dozens of technical inspectors at Toronto Pearson whose job is to identify every safety and maintenance issue before it impacts an aircraft. Things like lights that have failed, holes in the perimeter fence, humans and animals on the airfield, sinkholes apparently, and foreign object and debris. Foreign object debris are things like chunks of concrete that break loose from the runway or tools that get dropped that could be ingested and cause damage to an aircraft. So when you think about what this means from a practical perspective, you need to consider the scale of an airfield. With the World Cup coming up, I think there's a good analogy. When Matt goes out to look for FOD on the airfield, it's the equivalent of finding a golf ball somewhere on 800 soccer fields. Oh, and by the way, that golf ball's probably painted green. To address this challenge that happens multiple times every day at more than 45,000 airports globally, we developed the InspectX platform. We partnered with Toronto Pearson over the last 3 years to collect data and develop a mobile AI system that can be used to identify critical maintenance and safety issues on airfields. Those very things I talked about, FOD detection, lights that are out, pavement assessment. But it's much more than just a point solution for finding stuff on the airfield. It is a mobile data capture platform that can not only identify and geolocate those items, but it can be used to capture even more deep data. We generate 3D models of airfields that not only allow us to accelerate the training of our next AI models, we use that same AI model training ecosystem to train the operators in a zero emissions environment. When you think about that breadth of product, it really brings us to the first pivot in our CDL journey, and that was one of focus. One of the quotes that stuck with me from our first session was that more startups die of indigestion than die from starvation. So the first thing we did was focus. We took a FOD-first strategy, addressing a $20 billion a year problem on the airfield, and launched our FOD AI product in December to tremendous inbound demand. We had over a dozen airports ask us to deploy the solution, and we didn't have enough capital to do it, which brings us to the second piece of our CDL journey, which was funding. We raised our first VC capital from Innovabot Ventures, $200,000 standalone safe, to fund those POV systems at multiple airports, including Pittsburgh, Denver, Boston, and Dallas. And the third thing we focused on was building a pipeline that was predictable. We created a rinse and repeat model with a two-pronged focus. First, addressing the large airports early to capture the 2027 budget cycle, which began in Q1 and will end in October. And second, to engage those small airports quickly to create turns business. And the result was sound. We increased our sales pipeline by 10x, and we closed our first small airport deal in just 70 days. When we think about what's next, over the last 9 months, we booked $2 million worth of commercial contracts. We de-risked the technology. We're now deployed at 6 airports, ranging from Singapore to Nunavut, from the equator to the Arctic Circle. And our goal is now to raise $3 million seed round, win 50 or more airport customers to demonstrate market traction and extend our data moat, drive $6.5 million in contracted revenue, add additional detectors to our existing platform, and then look to expand to adjacent markets. Our asks from the CDL community are twofold. The first is, if this interests you, we are looking for investors for our current seed round. And if you're not an investor, one of the things that I learned from CDL is that warm intros are 750% more likely to get a response than a cold intro from me, so would covet any warm intros you would make to potential investors. The second area where we have interest is there is a tremendous untapped opportunity in the dual use segment. We've only tapped the commercial airfield market. Military has a similar need for airfield inspection, and so we're looking for folks with expertise in tapping that market as well as selling directly to the airlines. So with that, I thank you.